Hi guys, Darth Deuce here, back with some more Star Wars: The Vintage Collection action figure reviews. Today, taking a look at another Mandalorian figure. We've got the Mandalorian Death Watch Airborne Trooper from the Clone Wars. And yeah, if you've been a Vintage Collection collector this year, we've been eating real good when it's come to getting new Mandalorian figures. We've gotten a ton of stuff, from named characters to a bunch of army builders. We just have been very spoiled, I guess, in that regard, to getting all these new Mandalorian figures, which is super awesome. And here is a Death Watch Mandalorian from the Clone Wars, which is something I'm very happy to see. We got Clone Wars Mandalorians way back in the original Clone Wars run of figures, the actual animation designed figures. I think back in 2010 there was a 4-pack, a speeder pack, and a single carded Death Watch. I actually have an incomplete one, which I probably should have got down for comparison, but oh well. But yeah, we have the card back here. Really like the card back. It's Star Wars: The Clone Wars Mandalorian Death Watch Airborne Trooper. Really long, wordy name for this guy. The figure there, and a really nice image of the Mandalorian, which I believe is taken from the episode where that senator, or not senator, what is his name? I literally just watch episodes that can have this character in it. It was the character that was like the love interest kind of for Ahsoka in the Clone Wars series. I can't remember his name for whatever reason right now. But yeah, he was in this episode, and you got the backdrop, the snowy backdrop of that planet they're on, which is pretty cool. And on the back, you just have other figures that are available. I will be reviewing the Mandalorian Super Commando Captain next. I have reviews of Fennec, the Ahsoka clone trooper, and Ahsoka herself on the channel as well, if you'd like to see those. That's pretty much it for the packaging. So let's take a closer look at the figure. And I actually don't need to open this. I actually got two, so I have one loose already. I will be opening that other one that I have carded as well. I just wanted to keep it carded for the review. I am tempted to keep it on the card. It is a nice card back, but I bought these to have two loose. So yeah, definitely a figure if I ever see in stores I'd buy some more of. But yeah, here he is with none of his accessories on him or everything. Very nice figure. It is mostly reuse. It is mostly reuse of the Super Commando we got earlier this year. But that's perfectly fine. It's an excellent mold that makes for really good Mando Trooper figures. So yeah, really nice, and it's very nice to finally get a Mando in those more Clone Wars Death Watch colors. Helmet here is, I believe, reuse of the Death Watch Mandalorian that we got previously this year that was appeared in The Mandalorian, just painted in more Clone Wars style. I absolutely love the very dark, almost black, but still very dark blue, the little yellow markings, and the silver highlights, and then the silver battle damage they've added to the armor. You have a moving rangefinder, which is very nice as well. That looks really good. A little messy on the back, but that's not too bad. Then you've got the torso armor looking very good. You got this little emblem here. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but maybe it's clan or something, but that's very cool. And you've got the battle scarring, and you've got not only silver battle damage, you also got some brown, not brown, but like grayish to give it some extra like dirt and scuffing, which I think is super cool. Shoulder pads look nice. You got another emblem there, which looks really good. Back, nothing too special. The clothing and whatever is sculpted very nicely to emulate the clothing. Forearm gauntlet there, looks pretty nice. He does have new hands. I believe the hands are new. We haven't seen these on anyone before. And then the biggest, newest part is the right forearm has a lot more weaponry and gadgets on it. It has these little cables attached to the sleeve there. We didn't have that with any of the previous Super Commandos or anything. So that's super cool. You got like a double blaster there. You got some other cannons or flamethrowers or whatnot going on there. So that's very cool. I like that a lot. And then the rest is, again, repaint of the Super Commando. But looks very good. I like all the silver scuffing and paint that they did. Makes them look battle worn, which is really important, I think, for these guys. Being warriors, their entire culture and everything. Yeah. In terms of articulation, if you own any of the previous, say, Super Commando or the Mandalorian Death Watch, then you know what the articulation you're going to get. We do have a dumbbell joint in the neck. Looks down decently. Doesn't actually look up a ton. You could definitely could look up a bit more. Decent pivot, rotation, Ball hinges at the shoulders move very well. The shoulder pads are soft plastic. They'll move out of the way. You can rotate them pretty much as far as you want them to. Single hinge in the elbows move past 90, which is really good. And there's enough slack on these cables here where you don't have to worry about them pulling or being too tensed on, stretched. You don't have to worry about them being stretched or anything. They design that really well so they don't hinder any movement, which is good. Swivels and then hinges at the wrists, up and down hinges for blaster posing, which is very good. Ball joint at the torso, which moves very well. The new ball hinge at the hips, which again moves quite well. Spreads about that far. Kicks all the way. Goes back just a little bit. Swivel cut at the thigh. Single hinge knees move about 90. And then you have hinges at the ankles, move up just a bit, down a lot, and then pivot. So very good articulation. These guys are very fun to pose. And you can pretty much get, for the most part, any poses that you wanted as a pose. The only thing is, it might be kind of tough to get flying poses where they're actually looking forward, unfortunately. So that's something to keep in mind, but otherwise, they look great and pose very well. In terms of accessories, they come with the loadout that pretty much every Army Builder Mandos come out with this year. You do, of course, get the jetpack. I believe this is reuse of Super Commando and the Death Watch Mandalorian from the Mandalorian. I think they've all used the same jetpack. I don't think there's anything different, just paint, but that's good. Hollow holes at the thrusters. You can put little effect parts in there if you have them from like the Book of Boba Fett if you want to. And you just have a D-shaped peg that plugs in there. Goes in fairly secure. It's not going to fall off, which is great. Looks good. You also get your blasters. You get the two Mandalorian pistols, which we've seen before. I think they came out first with Bo-Katan. They look good. They're just cast in gray plastic. No real paint apps, no paint on the grip or anything, which is a little unfortunate, but not a big deal. You can hold those relatively well. Like so. So that looks pretty good. You can also store those in the holsters, and storing the holsters is kind of tough. It's really tight, and because the pistols are of a pretty soft plastic, it's really hard. Like, I actually can't get this pistol to go in all the way. I don't know if I'm gonna have to maybe go into the X-Acto knife trying to cut some room out or something, but that's really, really tight, and it doesn't want to go in quite all the way, which is kind of annoying. And it's the same on this one. I mean, on the one hand, they won't fall off. This one actually goes in like all the way and is good. That's not too bad. This one does not want to go in. I don't know why. It's kind of annoying. You know, it's too tight. Doesn't want to fit. I don't know what I'll have to do to get that to go, but yeah, that is actually pretty annoying. I won't lie. Yeah, so that is a small issue. Nothing too major, but that's a small issue. And then lastly, which I'm very happy that they've been including with these Clone Wars Mandos, they do also come with the rifle, the Mandalorian rifle. Again, just cast in gray plastic, no paint apps, but it does look really good. And again, can be held very well. Just one thing to keep in mind is that the grip on the rifle is larger than the grips on the pistol. So if you have them holding the rifle for any length of time, it will stretch out the hand more. And if you want to hold the pistols, you might have to heat up the hands again or something to get them to hold them securely. But yeah, good array of accessories, and overall looks really great. Before we close off here, we'll do a couple of comparisons. Here he is with the Bo-Katan figure released this year from The Mandalorian, but she looks pretty much the same as she did from the Clone Wars. And I think they look really good together. Here he is with the Super Commando, which I think looks really good. And then here he is with another one who's seriously mold, which I'll be reviewing next. It is the Mandalorian Super Commando Captain. And these all look really great together. I'm so happy we finally are getting articulated figures of these characters. Been wanting them ever since they originally appeared in the Clone Wars, so very happy to finally be getting them. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this figure. It's a really good release. If you're collecting Vintage Collection and you're collecting Clone Wars characters or Mandalorians or whatever, I would highly recommend picking this up. I picked up a couple, and honestly, if I find any more in stores, I'll probably pick them up too, at least maybe a couple more if I end up finding them in stores. It's a very good figure. This mold in general is really great. I'll buy pretty much any version they make of it, so yeah, very good. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all next one. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and may the Force be with you.